I'm Rhonda Kruger-Weinstein. I have lived in Brookline most of my life. In fact, my adult life, all but 10 years. And I spent a lot of time at Irving's Toy and Card Shop, which is where it's standing. Although when I was here, there was a bright red door and red and white on it.
Hi, I'm Ruth Kaplan. I'm also a mostly lifelong resident of Brookline, a child of Coolidge Corner, grew up right down the street here. When Rhonda approached me to participate in this project, I was very excited because Irving's, we just called it Irving's, so we think it was called Irving's Toy and Candy Store, whatever, but it was just known as Irving's. Irving's store was such an integral part of my childhood because I went to the former devotion school, as did Rhonda, and I also went to Kehillat Israel KI Hebrew School daily. So this was just part of my daily routine, was to come from school, go in here, fill up on candy, and then go into Hebrew school where we weren't allowed to eat candy. So we had to sneak our candy all during afternoon Hebrew school. So do you want to share some stories about Ethel and Irving?
Sure. Ethel lived to 101, and she ran the store until she died. This store was here 77 years, and I used to come mostly for candy and fudgicles, which were 5 cents. And my favorite candies were caramel creams and the strips of paper with tiny candy dots and junk wax bottles filled with terribly dyed sweet liquid.
Yeah, I can't exactly remember which my favorite candies were, but because of this project, I'm just thinking back about what several of those options were. There were these round balls called fireballs that really kind of exploded in your mouth. There was obviously licorice, red and black licorice. All of these things were literally 1 cent a piece. There was something called root beer barrels. There was that Halloween type candy that was really bad for you. Obviously bubble gum, that was part of the equation. I was saying to Rhonda earlier that I also really liked Tootsie Roll Pops, which had Tootsie Roll inside, and I think those might have been 2 cents, they might not be. But those were some of the options, and every day you could kind of vary your collection, and it's really all very bad for you.
I remember Irving sitting in a chair near the cash register. He died in 1960, but Ethel was the more gregarious one, and she would counsel us and talk about how life should be good, you should be helpful. She was a lovely person.
I agree. I wouldn't call her like sweet. She wasn't like a sweet person. She was more like she was very sensible, pragmatic, direct. Definitely, your friend. You knew you could rely on her at all times. I do remember Irving also, who sat and smoked a cigar. And after he died, she remarried a man named Abe. It's kind of interesting, though, that throughout the entire, duration of the store, it was called Irving's, for her first husband. And I was mentioning also that my daughter, who's now, I have 2 daughters, but one of them, who is now 35, also went to KI Hebrew School a couple of days a week, and this was also part of her routine. And I remember one time before cell phones, Anna, my daughter, was I don't know, for some reason she was stranded here. So of course she went across the street to Irving's, and Ethel called me and told me my daughter was there, and it was just, you know, she was just a reliable, you know, member of the whole team of Coolidge Corner. Like and I know how close she was to the school. They adored her at Devotion, and I guess she donated, they donated merch to the school after she died from the sale of her.
Do you want to?
This store was so special. It's long and narrow, and it's nestled between two apartment buildings. It was crowded, it was cluttered, but we managed to sort of sneak in. Oh, it was really difficult moving.
Yeah. Right. We cannot believe that when we arrived here just now, a new resident of this, which is now an apartment building, was coming into her home, and the nicest person, she allowed us to come in and to walk around, which was sort of a fantasy of mine for the past 10 years. Like, what is now behind those doors? And it's such a charming apartment, and it was, but we could still see the outline of the store. Like, we knew where the cash register was, where the candy was, where the ice cream was, where the toys were. It's all still there, but now it's been transformed to a beautiful home. And so as a child, you would like come up here, and then you have a little brown bag, but a little bag, you know, really little bag. And then I think they would hold the bag, I don't know, but you would just point to, say, about 10 different kinds of candy, and they were literally a penny.
And Irving sat there.
See, I don't remember him sitting.
He sat there.
And after he was gone, Ethel sat, I think, a little farther back.
She sat outside.
Oh, she did sit outside at times.
Well, I think by the time my son got there, she was sitting up here.
Yeah.
Also.
And this side had a like a refrigerator, you know, one of those.
Oh,
not
that's
this kind of
right.
refrigerator,
So
that kind of refrigerator.
And ice cream.
And had ice cream in it.
That's
And
right.
then also, the one thing that fascinated me, but I don't think I ever ate one, was they would freeze like Milky Ways and Snickers. For some reason, people wanted to.
I do that now.
I didn't know about that. So people would eat frozen like candy bars that you get from there. I didn't. Oh, you know what else I had? Hostess cupcakes.
And
Oh my God.
The best.
Do you know about Hostess?
Oh, yeah.
So Hostess cupcakes and Hostess Twinkies and those snowballs.
and 5-cent fudgicles.
Fudgicles. Okay. So they had all that junk food over there. And so that was all like a lot of food, and this was the penny candy area.
And games.
And then toys and games.
Toys and games are back there. Plus supplies like crepe paper and other kinds of.
If you even know what crepe paper is, if it's even used anymore.
Right? Yeah. So
Art supplies.
Art supplies, thank you. Art supplies.
Yeah. And I'm sure we'll talk about this some more, but she was very good about helping kids with math. Like she would make you figure out
How would you?
what things
You
cost.
had to count your change as you handed it to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's great. I love
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Well, your husband probably remembers some of that.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure he remembers